Hello everyone and welcome to a new sex toy review, and today's product is the Daisy 35.27 pound big ass sex doll silicone porn sex doll with dual tunnels by Erovenus. So this is a not just life size, this is very voluptuously life size. It's extremely realistic. So Erovenus, in case you didn't know, formerly known as LoveNestle, started out as LoveNestle's luxury brand, but then the whole company kind of folded into it. So Erovenus makes excellent dolls. In fact, I will say this right now at the beginning of the review, this is the best Own-A-Hip I have ever used. So previously, I was a big fan of LoveNestle / Erovenus's Naomi butt, because the butt felt good in the hands. It felt like a real butt. It was a little on the small side, but it felt good in the hands. And a lot of the other LoveNestle dolls I've reviewed in the past, the butt was too soft. It felt more like boobs. It's called a love ass. It's an upgrade. But I specifically requested them, please make the butt feel like a butt and not like a pair of boobs. And they finally listened, and they sent me these, and these are great. These are great dolls. Very impressed. The detail work and the attention to detail in the skin texture and the feel is amazing, and the butt finally feels right. So this is hands down my favorite, doggy style butt, Own-A-Hip, whatever you want to call it. It's a little heavy, 35 pounds, so you're not going to be like holding this in your hands and like having it bounce on your cock, cowgirl style. But you prop this against something, and it's great. It feels like the real thing. I can say that without reservation. This feels like the real thing. So whether it's doggy style, whether it's missionary, this does feel like the real thing. Now these things can pair with a body pillow, but they are life size. They're much bigger than the body pillow image. I will review another butt from Erovenus in the near future, which is anime body pillow sized, but this one is not just life size. This is big butt, like voluptuous life size. So this isn't like a doll modeled after like a skinny girl. This is modeled after a very full-figured girl with a big butt. So if that's what you're into, and I know a lot of you guys are, this is the doll for you. So first off, before we get started on the sexual aspects, what I like about Erovenus / LoveNestle is the attention to detail in the skin. So you can see the discoloration in the skin, wrinkles, veins. It looks and feels like the real thing. And because it's silicone, you can clean it with soap and water. You don't need to give it a Roman bath like you do with a TPE doll. You could clean it with soap and water. It cleans up great. So I don't know if this is coming through, but like the detail is amazing. You could see the pores, wrinkles, freckles, slight discoloration, like it's amazing. The pubic hair area of the vagina, you could see the bumps where she shaved her pussy for you. So it actually has like the stubbly bumps from when a woman shaves her pubes around her vagina to keep it nice and smooth. So like the detail, even the butthole. Let me just show you. Let me show what I'm talking about. Okay, let me just, again, 35 pounds, not the lightest thing. It's a lot just to keep it in frame. Okay. All right, first of all, you can see some vein. Wait, are those veins, or is that? They might be stains. So I had this on a black kind of material, and but you can see some. There's some veins. These black ones might be stains though. But anyway, the detail. Look. Even the butthole looks impressive. I'm impressed by the butthole. And you said, let me spread it out. You can see down into the vagina. You can see the texture. There's texture in the butthole as well. Both channels are fully usable, and they feel completely real. So they model the interior of the vagina and the butthole on real human anatomy. So you're getting as close to the real thing as you can, without actually having sex with, a real person. And because the Erovenus LoveNestle dolls, they feel like they have a composite material, like TPE dolls, I keep mentioning this. The TPE dolls just feel like kind of rubber around a metal skeleton. But the LoveNestle Erovenus dolls, they have a composite material. So like when I squeeze the legs, it doesn't feel the same as when I squeeze the butt, which doesn't feel the same as if I like pinch the vagina. Like each part of the doll feels real, and it feels real in the hands because the different parts of the doll come together very nicely. Now, first of all, I want to point out that this doll doesn't appear to have a skeleton per se. It's very jiggly, but you can make it like, you can make it do all kinds of stuff like that. Like there's no skeleton. So it's all just one thick piece. So you can definitely maneuver it around. You can't bend the legs. The legs are permanently in like this slightly up position, which is fine, which allows you to do doggy style or missionary. They don't get in the way at all, but just be aware that you cannot like pose the legs in any which way. They do bend, but they don't move. So it's stuck in this position. So let me show you the butt. Let me just move this out of the way. So the butt is, it looks like a little heart. Very voluptuous. It may be hard to see from this angle. Let me turn it on its side. You can see how big this butt is. All right. So you can see the butt better now. It's a very nice, it's not like cartoonishly big. Like it looks super fake. Like, you know, she's got like some type of boob butt injections. But like a nice, you know, heart-shaped big booty. Really feels good in the hands. And this is the thing I've been asking LoveNestle / Erovenus to do for such a long time, is fix the butts, make them feel like butts, do not make them feel like boobs. So you have to request this. This is, you know, standard. If you just order a doll from LoveNestle / Erovenus, it's going to have this soft butt. Apparently, a lot of people like it. I don't like it because it doesn't feel like a butt. It feels like boobs. Now, if you secretly want a girl's butt to feel like boobs, that's fine, but I like realism. So just don't request the love butt. Request the normal butt. But it still has the composite material. So when I squeeze the butt, it feels soft, but it feels like a butt. Like not like a, you know, when you tighten your butt cheek, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like when a butt's relaxed, but still very pliable, very good. This is exactly how a butt, especially a big butt like this is how it should feel. It shouldn't be too soft. It shouldn't feel like titties, but it shouldn't be like rock hard either. It should have a nice feel. And this is traditionally where TPE dolls tend to have an advantage because TPE naturally feels like that. But now, finally, I can say that these dolls have now captured the proper butt feel. So this feels extremely realistic in the hands. It feels realistic to have sex with, whether it's doggy style, whether it's missionary. It feels like the real thing. And then when you're manhandling it, when you're like grabbing the butt cheeks and thrusting into it, it feels like a real woman. So this would pair excellently with VR or even an anime body pillow if you don't mind the difference in size, because this is going to be significantly bigger than the picture on the body pillow. But it feels excellent. Let's do a spank test. So I'm just, here we go. Just give it a spank. You can see it's got some, it looks, this is how a butt should look when you spank it. It shouldn't jiggle like titties, but it should have some jiggle to it. And you could like make it clap. You know, you could titty fuck her butt cheek if you want. I mean, I don't know why you would. Like there's plenty of, you know, the party's over here. But if you wanted to titty fuck the butt crack, you could. But you could make her butt cheeks clap. It's great. So let me show you let me flip her over, show you the missionary position again. All right, so, well, actually, while she's sitting up here, you could make her sit up, but she's going to lean forward a bit. That's just because the position of the legs and how big her booty is. But you can make her sit up if you want. The main advantage of these sorts of dolls as opposed to a full doll is it's much easier to store. The problem with a full doll is it's very difficult to figure out where to put it to get it out of the way because it's, you know, the size of a person. With these, they're very easy to put away. Just keep the box it comes in, put it back in the box, put it anywhere, and it looks completely inconspicuous. So anyway, all right. So what else is there to show you? Well, let me show you the goods again. I'm so impressed. Like the stomach, the belly button, every part of the doll looks real. If I were to show you a picture of the part of the doll without seeing like how the legs are cut off or the torso is cut off, if that was out of frame, it would look like a real person. Just hands down. Like they really do a good job. So I mean, just look at the vagina lips. I mean, like if I close the hole so you can't like just stare down the hole, that looks like a real woman's vagina. And it's anatomically correct. It even has a clitoris. It even has like a little urethra hole, which obviously isn't functional, but they really went above and beyond with the detail. I could see the urethra hole. I could see the clitoris. The labia has wrinkles and everything. Again, you can see the texture down into the vagina. It looks completely genuine. Even the butthole has like wrinkles and lines and stuff. It's so good. And it feels so good in the hands. So anyway, enough. That is the Daisy. So here's the thing about the Daisy. The Daisy is unfortunately quite expensive. So sure, it feels like the real thing. It's got good feel to it in the hands and on your penis, and it's great. It's $730, which is pretty pricey. I mean, for a couple $100 more, you could get a full doll. So the problem is this is a pricey own-a-hip. I do have a coupon code that'll save you a little bit of money. And again, I will say this without reservation. This is the best, own-a-hip, doggy-style butt, kind of, butt sex doll thing that I've ever used. Again, big fan of the Naomi, but it was a little small, but I liked how it felt in the hands, and the other LoveNestle Erovenus dolls had the jiggly butt, which I didn't like, so I stuck with the Naomi. But this has dethroned the Naomi. This is my new favorite one, because now that the butt has been fixed, it feels good in the hands. It's heavy, though. So what I like to do with the Naomi, because it only weighed like 10 pounds, is you could like hold it in your hands and just like, use it like cowgirl, Now this weighs 35 pounds, so you can bounce it on your lap, you can do stuff with it, but it's a lot heavier. 35 is a lot heavier than 10. But 35 pounds isn't completely impossible to, hold in your hands. Now if this was like 50 plus pounds, that could get pretty heavy. But 35 pounds, you can pick this up. You can hold this against your body. You can have it bounce on your lap. It's just going to be heavy. Now, when you're having sex with a woman and she's, riding you and you want to kind of like hold on to her hips and help her rock on your dick, that could be heavy too. So I don't fault the doll. However, I know how Erovenus, they made a full silicone sex doll that was only 30 pounds. So they know how to shave the weight. I would love to see the Daisy at 15 pounds instead of 35. If they could somehow use the technology they used on their other doll torso, which they shaved the weight from like 70 pounds to 30 pounds, if they could do that same thing with Daisy and shave her weight down from 35 to something closer to 15, I would be extremely impressed, because I love how this feels in the hands. I love how it feels when you're having sex with it. The detail is great, but it's so heavy. I mean, it's not so heavy, but it is heavier. It's significantly heavier, which means you're probably going to be putting this on something and either having doggy style or missionary. Cowgirl might be too hard because it just weighs 35 pounds. It's going to be hard to bounce it on your crotch. And the only other problem is the price. At $730, this is a pricey doll. But is it worth it? In my opinion, yes. I do think this is worth it. But you need to understand that this is expensive. This is one of the more expensive kind of sex doll butts. I think this might be the most expensive sex doll butt I've ever reviewed. Because usually for 700 something bucks, you're going to get a full torso with boobs, everything but arms, legs, and a head. When you're paying, close to 750 bucks. So to only get the butt, this is pretty expensive. But you need to understand also, this is a life-size big booty doll. This isn't anime body pillow size. This is not scaled down. This isn't like a skinny girl either. So a lot of dolls are skinny in order to cut down on the weight and the cost. That's why Celestina has a Barbie doll kind of body, because the bigger, more voluptuous dolls like Hailey from the Dollhouse, that's kind of based on Kim Kardashian with H-cup boobs, she weighs 115 pounds where Celestina weighs 70 pounds. So this butt is based on like more of a Kim Kardashian, thick, voluptuous woman. So she's got a big butt, big thighs, You know, she's not skinny. She's not Barbie doll skinny. So be aware, the weight and the size is a factor which affects the price. Now, I don't know if Erovenus / LoveNestle, if they make a skinnier version that's also life size. We'll have to see. But if you like big booties, if you like, you know, the Kim Kardashian kind of thick girl, then this is the doll butt for you. Amazing detail, amazing feel. They finally conquered the butt. But be aware, if you order this, you need to request the not soft butt, because apparently the soft butt upgrade is standard. So if you don't want the butt to be too soft and feel like boobs, you need to actually make them aware of that when you place your order. Don't just place it as is. Make sure that you request the not soft butt, like deny the love butt upgrade. Make sure that you request the firmer butt option, and then you should be good. Okay, so for context, her butt, the circumference of her butt is 46.26 inches, while her waist is 23.43 inches. So it's 23.46 as far as her measurements go. So she's got a big ass. So if you have a big dick and you're worried that this doll, you know, even though it's based on like a big bootied girl, maybe it's not deep enough for you, you can rest easy. The vagina channel is 8¼ inch deep. So 8.27 inches for the vagina cavity, which I think is, I mean, unless you have like an 8.5 to 9 inch dick, 8¼ is pretty big. So as long as you're 8¼ or less, you can absolutely go balls deep. However, even if you're a little bit more than 8¼ this is silicone. It stretches. You should be able to like ram your cock in as much as you want, and it will stretch and accommodate your larger dick. But usually these sorts of toys only have like a 7-inch cavity. This one has an 8¼ inch cavity. So again, if you're on the bigger side, don't worry, this should be able to accommodate you. If you want to know about the butthole, it's only 6.3 inches deep. So the butthole is a little bit shallower and it's a lot tighter because it's designed on a real butt. But the vagina is 8¼ inch deep. So you should be fine. You should be fine. And again, the big advantage of these dolls is they're very easy to hide, you know, if you want to put it away and not be embarrassed or whatever. I don't care, but maybe you do. These butts are much easier to store than a full-size doll. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Daisy. This gives my best recommendation. If you're into big bootied women and you want a realistic sex doll butt that feels like the real thing and feels good in your hands, then I highly recommend the Daisy. It is expensive. Use the coupon code, save that money, but it is expensive. But in my opinion, this is the best I've ever felt in terms of realism, detail, just feel in the hands. It's amazing. So is it worth $700 some odd? That's up to you. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But anyway, thank you, Erovenus, for sending me Daisy. Excellent work, you guys. Very impressed. I'm glad you finally figured out the butt situation, and the butt feels like a butt now and not a pair of boobs. So thank you very much for finally solving that puzzle. Anyway, this is Turd Flingy Monkey. Remember the coupon code, guys. Remember the coupon code. Save some money. This is very expensive. Every little bit helps. But use the coupon code. Check out Erovenus' whole website. They make excellent products. And now that they figured out the butt situation, I fully expect the rest of their products to impress me going forward. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Turd Flingy Monkey, and I'll see you next time.